Murdoch tries to steal a march on his satellite rivals by setting up 4 new television channels. They'll be beamed directly into subscribers' homes starting from the end of the year. Mr. Murdoch, who owns 5 British newspapers, is also signing a deal with the electronics firm Amstrad. They'll produce home satellite dishes to receive his pictures for around £200 each. Mr. Murdoch's venture depends on November's launch of the Astra satellite and will be financed by advertising. He's offering separate channels for round-the-clock news, entertainment and films, and there could be a 4th sports channel. Michael Crick reports on Rupert Murdoch's latest acquisition to his media empire.
The man may own more newspapers and more television stations than anyone on earth, but a Rupert Murdoch press conference is a rare thing. But today, the Australian-American media baron thought he had good reason to make a noise. By taking 4 English-language TV channels on the new Astra satellite to be launched this November, directed primarily at the UK, Mr. Murdoch has found a back door into British television. But the owner of 5 British newspapers sees the venture not as an extension of his large share of our media outlets, but as more competition.
Our record in this country has been to create competition and indeed to enable it. And we think we're doing the same thing now in television. We are seeing, I think, the dawn of an age of freedom for viewing and freedom for advertising.
It's the profits from News International's controversial print operation at Wapping which have provided the means for Mr. Murdoch to pursue media ambitions on 3 continents, in particular money from the mass circulation's Sun and News of the World. Around the globe, Mr. Murdoch's News Corporation turned over £2.5 billion last year on its 47 newspapers, 48 magazines and 10 television stations. But his only existing impact on British television is through the 250,000 people who can get his current satellite station, Sky Channel, on cable television in Britain. But Sky Channel, broadcast across Europe for 5 years now and funded by advertising, lost £10 million last year. Murdoch media outlets are encouraged to fertilise each other. This journalist spends most of each day at Wapping before reading several short Times headline bulletins for Sky Channel each evening.
Good evening. The main headline...
And News International print journalist may help his new 24-hour Astra News channel. In America, Mr. Murdoch's TV company Fox is responsible for this programme called A Current Affair.
A current affair comes...
It broadcasts the pleadings of a woman about to die in a tower block fire.
I can't believe I'm going to pass out.
We'll send an ambulance.
Hi.
Did anybody do anything, finally?
Yeah, they found her body at 4:45 in the morning.
In Britain last year, Murdoch's Sun and News of the World accounted for 23 of the 50 complaints upheld by the Press Council.
I'm very proud of all my newspapers, and I'm sure I'm going to be proud of what we do on this channel. Thank you.
Is it going to be the same kind of standard of journalism as we see?
It's going to be it'll be totally different. I've told you it'll be absolutely first class. Thank you.
But will anybody watch satellite television? At present, only 1,000 TV satellite dishes are sold in Britain every month. This company, Megasat in London, sells these dishes, which receive all satellite channels, and sells them for between £500 and £1,000. But installation costs can be between £100 and £400 on top, so it's expensive now. But today, Alan Sugar of Amstrad announced plans to storm the shops next year with new Astra dishes for £199, and he hopes for a £40 installation cost. But more important, Mr. Murdoch's Astra channels will use the existing PAL television system, which is compatible with people's existing TV sets. That is seen as a vital decision.
All colour television sets in Britain at the moment work on the PAL system. The satellite services already available work on the PAL system, and the grand plan was that there will be a completely new system used for satellites, which is the MAX system. That's developed by the IBA, and it's going to be used by the British satellite broadcasting people. Now, what Murdoch and Sky and Astra have come in and said, all that goes out of the window, we're going to stick with the existing PAL system. And that's wonderful in the short term. It means that existing equipment will be able to receive these programs. In the long term, it completely pulls the rug from under the plans to have new technology that will take us into the next century.
It makes life much more difficult for BSB, presumably.
I think it makes life incredibly difficult for BSB because they are committed. In fact, they are under duress from the British government that they must use the MAX system.
So, Mr. Murdoch's Astra channels seem to have a big advantage over his main satellite rivals. His Astra channels are launched this November. He uses the existing PAL system, which should save viewers trouble and cost, and the system will be financed in the medium term at least by advertising. BSB, on the other hand, won't go up until September next year. BSB is obliged to use the new technology, DMAC, which will mean more expense for viewers. And viewers will have to pay for many BSB programmes. But Anthony Simmons-Gooding says his service will provide better quality.
Our dish is 30 centimetres, and we have a satellite which is 8 times as powerful as Astra's. And I'm quite convinced that when they get to it, many parts of the country will have to have a dish of a metre. And that's a whole new ball game of planning permission and cost.
Is it going to be possible for both the Astra system and the BSB to survive in this very competitive field?
Probably not. There are already 4 broadcast channels in the UK. There's almost certain to be a 5th. Astra carries 16 channels, of which perhaps 11, 12 might be aimed at the UK, and BSB carries 3. I can't really see that there's enough of a market to support 18 television channels.
So who do you think will win?
Well, I think the important thing is it's all going to be down to programming. One of the advantages of BSB is they're going to spend an awful lot on programming, but they're starting a year later.
So, 2 of the world's best-known entrepreneurs unite to usher Britain into the age of satellite television only a few months from now. They're providing between them programmes and satellite dishes. It now depends on the Ariane rocket, launched from French Guiana on November the 4th. And rockets have been known to fail.
Rupert Murdoch launches his battle for satellite television.
We're seeing deregulation, multiplicity of choice to people and to advertisers all over Europe, and it's time it happened here in Britain.
Good evening. Britain's most powerful newspaper tycoon is promising to introduce at least 3 new satellite television channels by early next year. He says he'll do it quicker and cheaper than any of his competitors. People will be able to receive pictures direct from a new satellite with a dish that'll cost them £200. I'll be asking Rupert Murdoch how far down market he'll have to take his new satellite programmes in order to make them pay. But we begin tonight with the second proposal this week from a media mogul to reshape British television. Mr. Rupert Murdoch has unveiled plans to provide 3 new satellite channels from early next year. Viewers will be able to receive the programmes on their existing sets using a new low-cost dish. Mr. Murdoch was giving viewers and broadcasters a new glimpse of the fast-approaching free-for-all competition for the airwaves. And Mrs. Thatcher gave a warning that she would use legislation to enforce broadcasting standards if self-regulation failed. Addressing an audience of journalists and broadcasters today, she said, "We simply must protect our young people from some of the violence and pornography that they would otherwise see." Mr. Murdoch's move follows yesterday's announcement by his media rival Robert Maxwell of his plans to expand into satellite television, and it signals further growth in Mr. Murdoch's already vast media empire. Mr. Murdoch's media interests cover the globe and are estimated to generate sales of well over £2 billion. In Britain, they include The Times and The Sunday Times, The Sun, News of the World, Today, the satellite television company's Sky Channel, Elle magazine, and stakes in publishers William Collins and Pearson, which owns Penguin Books and The Financial Times. In America, there's 20th Century Fox, the film company, Fox Broadcasting, which makes television programs, a string of television stations, magazines and newspapers, including the Boston Herald and publishers Harper and Row. Most of the newspapers sold in Australia are Murdoch-controlled, as are the Fiji Times and the South China Morning Post. And now he's expanding his interest in satellite television. Well, Wesley Kerr reports now on what Mr. Murdoch today called the dawning of a new age of freedom for viewing and freedom for advertising.
Puffs of smoke heralded the latest expansion in Rupert Murdoch's global empire, 4 satellite channels beaming pictures primarily to Britain. his Sky Channel should be the first of a bewildering array of new networks with diverse technology on offer to the public from numerous media conglomerates.
So I'm happy to announce today that Sky will be leasing 4 transponders on this magnificent...
Murdoch hopes to steal a march on competitors by beaming his mix, including features, news and sport, just before Christmas to satellite dishes specially built by entrepreneur Alan Sugar's Amstrad.
I'm very confident in the programming that Mr. Murdoch is going to put on these 4 channels, and I'm also very confident that if the British consumer can see that it's good programming, they will go out and spend another £200 so that they can see it, in the same way as they went out and spent over £200 when they bought their VCR recorders.
In boardrooms, advertisers and their advisors like Charles Johnshaw, who also advises government departments on broadcasting, see ventures like Murdoch's as part of a new technological age.
This is the first time that a really major and credible media figure has announced that a service will be launched which falls outside the UK, if you like, regulatory jurisdiction. So this is not any of the IBA-controlled or BBC-controlled channels. This is not like the BSB satellite venture, the British Satellite Broadcasting venture, if you like, sponsored or authorized by the British government. This is a satellite which will beam down from abroad, that will be outside the control of the British regulatory authorities, and which, because of the credibility of Rupert Murdoch as a businessman, as a media entrepreneur, is very likely to be a serious business venture.
Satellite stockists have been waiting for a much-heralded sales boom for years, but it hasn't happened. Only an estimated 15,000 dishes have been bought in Britain. So why is that takeoff now possible? The existing low-powered satellites like Intelsat have had limited take-up because they need a large dish to receive the relatively weak signal from space. They cost about £1,000 to buy, and the 6-foot dish needs planning permission too. The new generation of satellites like the Luxembourg-based Astra, from which Rupert Murdoch is leasing his channels, will be medium-powered. Robert Maxwell's channels may use similar technology. A dish will cost around £200 and measure only 2 feet across. High-powered satellites like those which the IBA-sponsored British Satellite Broadcasting Group will use from next year will have a £200 dish measuring only 1 foot across. Some analysts think Mr. Murdoch may have a commercial edge by being first.
The reason his service is likely to be successful, where other past projects haven't been, is that he's picked the most straightforward, fastest way of reaching people. He's picked a low-technology solution so that people can get his satellite service on their existing television sets, just needing a dish that will cost about £200. They won't need a new television set, which would be a barrier to its take-up.
British Satellite Broadcasting was the official franchise choice for 3 channels on British-owned satellites. But they're not starting till autumn 1989, months after Mr. Murdoch, who hopes by then to be well on the way to his targeted million sales in the first year.
I think it's highly unlikely that he'll put 1 million out into the market in year 1, and for 2 real reasons. First of all, his receiver equipment, in my opinion, is very expensive, and I don't think his programming is all that good.
How can you convince the public that your programs will be better than Rupert Murdoch's?
Mainly because they are going to be better. If I take the film channel, ours is a subscription channel, 250 new movies every year. His is a free movie channel. They'll be as old as the hills and older than ITV and BBC. Take sport, we've got the football deal. We're going to have a sports channel of total excellence. Take news, he's going to aim at Europe for news, international news. Ours is going to be UK news, aimed at the UK market. I think we'll win on every count.
Whoever wins the battle for satellite viewers, how much medium-term effect will the new age of broadcasting have on the existing BBC and ITV networks?